Welcome to another Sith List episode. I was going to say reaction episode. It kind of is a reaction episode. We're going to break down the Batman. I'm Mirage. That's Randy. And down there, Les. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing okay. Pretty excited to talk about this.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've been excited to talk to you guys about this. You guys got to watch it on the Warner Brothers lot. I've been dying to ask you questions. I don't want to spoil it. So this thing is going to be non-spoilery for everyone, guys. We're going to do a review. We're going to break down some of the characters. I can't believe I missed it. I was in New Orleans that week. And of course it'd be that week that came out, but whatever. Now I can live vicariously through you guys. I know you guys have wanted to spoil it for me for the last month or 2 months and a half, but I was going to... 6 months, yes. But I was going to... has it been 6 months?
It's been 6 months.
6 months.
No way. So you guys saw it 6 months ago. That is amazing. I thought it was like 3 months ago.
No.
So that's crazy. You guys have just been just inside of you must have been just like going crazy wanting to talk about this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some individual questions. Guys, please subscribe. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. We're going to be doing all kinds of reaction videos and breakdowns of things like Moon Knight that's coming out, Kenobi that's coming out, all kinds of stuff in pop culture, starting right now with the Batman. How long was the cut of the film that you guys saw?
Oh, it was over 3 hours, well over 3 hours. So
okay, so do we know what the runtime is on this one yet?
I think the final runtime is slightly over 3 hours, and ours was slightly over 3.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And this was a new one that had just got the score in, so I'm curious to see what the final score ends up being, and some of the visual effects, which we might talk about, weren't necessarily finished at the point when we saw the movie.
Yeah, it was a rough cut, and they gave us a tutorial on what it was going to look like and what to expect as the film was going on. So,
no food, no water, no special effects. This is starting off great right now.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah.
Well done, Warner Brothers. Well done. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes, really. Like, I'm going to ask you both.
Now you talk about food, huh? Yeah, okay.
Now I'm talking about food. Okay, without spoiling this film, which we're going to see in a couple of days. My first question to you, Robert Pattinson, was he believable as the Batman? And is this something that's going to change his life? Not that he needs popularity because he was already in a crazy popular franchise, but is this something that for the next 10 years, we're going to see him as the Batman?
I'll say that I think he did a good job as Batman. I think Les and I could maybe argue that's the only role he played was the Batman. He wasn't really playing like Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Like a bachelor Bruce Wayne. He was just Batman in this movie, even when he was Bruce Wayne. I don't know if it's necessarily going to change his career because... well, I mean, he's definitely going to be doing more of these, probably just because of his relationship with Reeves. But I think he's used to this at this point.
I'm sure. Yeah, with the fanfare and the big franchises. Yeah, he's absolutely used to this. But what I'm saying is, he did a good enough job. Where you would go see.
Definitely. Yes. No
good enough that we would see him again as Batman. Yeah, no, the whole thing with like, getting up in arms because this Batman isn't the Batman you imagine. I think we're beyond that. I mean, obviously we're always going to hear it, but there's he's a good Batman. Just the only complaint, or not even a complaint, just you haven't seen it yet, is that he's only Batman in this movie.
Okay, gotcha. So you don't see his billionaire side. Les, you was it believable? You down for Pattinson as Batman from this point on?
Well, if anyone can play like sullen and introverted and into themselves and just closed off, it's Robert Pattinson. So he pulled off this. This Batman is in a very dark place. Like just brooding at max brooding. So he's got that down. Like he's got it down. Perfect. It's perfect. He'll be able to do this, and he'll be able to carry at least another film for sure.
Okay. So that's a good sign. I was very, very excited about this casting because I love the fact that it's a casting that people get upset about. Christian Bale's casting was not a popular casting as well, and we saw how that turned out. So I'm very excited. He is a great actor. He's proven himself in all kinds of indie films. So I'm really excited to see how he does in this, man. I really am. So the detective aspect of it, everybody, when this thing first came out and Reeves kept plugging away and saying this is going to be more of a detective style Batman, it's going to be film noir. Is that something that you saw? Les, I'll go with you on this one. Is that something that you felt after you watched this thing?
Film noir, yeah, for sure. There was definitely a tone. There was it was just a presence. It was a really, really heavy movie. I think at one point Randy leaned over and said, I didn't expect it to be this intense.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's got a pulse pounding kind of beat to it. There is enough going on, and it's just I don't think there's any sunlight in the whole thing. Maybe, I don't know. It's just the dark side of Gotham and the dark side of everything. Just nighttime covers all. So
well, watching the trailers, I get a 7 vibe. Was that
yes.
how it felt a little bit? Not the actual storyline, but the filter, the feel.
Yeah.
You get a vibe like the Gotham is. I know I've heard this before, but I think it's more true in this movie that Gotham kind of is a character. It kind of has like a constant like oppression to it as you're going through that gives you anxiety, which is a really cool vibe, something I didn't expect. And then the film noir thing of going like trying to sneak through all these little spots to kind of patch everything together. It's definitely more of a detective Batman film than anything that's ever been out before.
Wow, that's great. And you're a big and Randy, I think you've played it too, the Arkham Knight games and the Arkham Asylum games. Was it kind of like a tribute to that at all? I know that a lot of people thought that it was going to be. Did it have that feel at all or no?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay,
you gotta remember, the Arkham games are basically, it's all his rogues are doing something. He's got to deal with, a good chunk of his rogues in one evening, pretty much. This one, there's a lot going on, but it's not to that level of like, okay, I got to work to stop this as I'm working to stop something else. As I'm also, I can't forget about that other thing. So,
and I think it's worth mentioning that like this Batman isn't like above the city the whole time. He's very much of the streets, but like hiding within the streets. He doesn't have like all these gadgets and bat wings and stuff. He's not like rappelling from building to building.
Oh, interesting. It's like a raw kind of.
Yeah, he has his car and he has his feet, and every once in a while he pulls out a trick here and there.
Okay. And that's interesting because that's something I really love about the Batman films is seeing his little gadgets and tricks, kind of like you do with the James Bond films. So this doesn't have it, but not necessarily didn't need it.
Well, Les, go ahead. I think you got something to say about
that. He's not in situations like that. Like there's situations where Batman is like, okay, I need these things, and he has a full tactical thing going on here. This is more like I'm just following the breadcrumbs that are being laid to me, and then he figures out what's going on at some other point. So it's there's almost no need for gadgets. There's like no need for him, to rappel up and bat claw all the way to the top and stand on a gargoyle. He's
right.
I think at this point he's just barely building his relationship with Gotham PD. He's just barely. He's still being looked at. He's in this Batman is in a certain spot where he's a vigilante. He's not really a savior yet. He's not really proven to be. Am I wrong, Randy?
No, you're totally right. Like they look at kind of like he's done some good, so there is some use to him, but everyone's still freaked out by the fact that there's a dude running around in a bat costume. But he has this relationship with Gordon, so he's able to get access to things he otherwise wouldn't.
Well, this is a good segue. Let's talk about you talked earlier about the rogue gallery. Let's talk about the main rogue in this one, which is Paul Dano's interpretation of the Riddler. Now, he looks freaky as hell. And I know that he was based on the son of Sam, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, the Zodiac.
The Zodiac Killer.
Yeah. Zodiac. Got my serial killers mixed up. Sorry, guys.
As we do.
Yes, as we all do. But how was he? How was he? Was he believable? Was he scary?
I think the thing is that we all see the Riddler as like this yuckster. This kind of like Jim Carrey's Riddler is probably one of the best portrayals, but he's like a Joker kind of. This one is not. This one is like I'm not giggling. I'm not laughing at all. This is just a brutal, brutal murderer. That's it. That's all I can tell you. Like, he's just the most brutal version of the Riddler you can get. He is, you said a serial killer, you know, the Zodiac, Son of Sam, the Night Stalker, you know, they do their thing and they leave the trail after. They leave their trademark, and that's the Riddler. This Riddler is like, I did this, and you know, it's what is it? So it's got like a Silence of the Lambs / Red Dragon kind of thing going on here.
Okay.
In this, like, in the Red Dragon, he left clues of, like, you know, what he was becoming. In this, there's just, hey, I did something. Did you notice it? You know, he wants an admiration and a recognition.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to outsmart Batman. This is usually the relationship is, you know, the Riddler trying to prove his wits and prove that he's smarter than Batman. And whenever Batman solves all the stuff, he's just like, how the hell did you do that? This one's just like, I'm going to leave some things, and I want to see if you're going to figure out it's me. And I just, you know, and we'll go from there. So
very, very Seven-ish again, by the way.
I think it's an important distinction. Plus the fact that this is the first time we've seen like a Batman movie where the villain isn't the focus. Every Batman movie you see, whether it's the Dark Knight trilogy, whether it's any one of like the Burton Schumacher movies, like the villain is always the point. And because that, it almost makes the Riddler in this movie a afterthought, which is for some people will be a good or a bad thing. But I like it because it becomes a straight up Batman movie where the villain isn't as important. But because of that, I don't find him as much of an impression.
That's really interesting. Okay, so he isn't the main focus of this film.
No, Batman. In my opinion, Batman is very much the focus.
Okay, cool. That seems interesting. Also, and we know that we get Colin Farrell's take on the Penguin on this one. Are we gonna? Well, how do you want to spoil it that way? I was gonna say, are we gonna see a lot of him? I don't even want you to tell us if we are. How's his interpretation or his version of the Penguin? Is pretty cool.
It's freaking awesome.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. You don't even know it's him. It's you don't know it's Colin Farrell, and it's just there's a, if I'm not mistaken, there's just like this slight feeling that he's being disrespected, and he just wants respect. It's just about respect. That's what this Penguin wants, is just respect me.
Like a new gangster type of feel.
Kind of thing, yeah,
gangster,
exactly.
and he wants his, okay.
It's just like I'm not no one, you know, I'm not chopped liver here, you know. You're gonna feel me, you're gonna respect me.
Right.
So.
I think, isn't he getting a show on HBO Max as well, or he's gonna be involved in the spin-off? They're gonna do some kind of spin-off on HBO.
That's what I keep hearing, yeah.
Is that the Gotham City PD or something like that?
Yeah,
GCPD?
something like that. If watchers, please, viewers, please let us know in the comments. But that'd be great to have. He's such a great actor, and what I've seen just in the trailer, you can't even tell it's him. It's insane.
He's awesome, and he has like this very cool like New York, Chicago gangster vibe to it, but he still like walks that line of being believable without being, boring. Like he looks like the beginning of what would be Penguin.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The beginning of Penguin. Now, all over the trailers and all over the recent TV spots, it seems like they're really pushing the relationship between Catwoman and Batman. And I mean, it's pretty much Zoe Kravitz's film now. Yeah, which I have no problems with because I absolutely love her. She's phenomenal. How was she as Catwoman?
Amazing. I'm going to say amazing. I'm going to say she was captivating. There's just enough action for her to do some things. So Zoe Kravitz displays just enough athletic ability or that type of action ability. But she's just, this Catwoman is, Michelle Pfeiffer's was good, actually very good.
Yeah, Pfeiffer's was phenomenal.
Michelle Pfeiffer's was very good, but this one nails the seduction. She nails like this level of seduction in a way without really being seductive because of how she looks. You know, her just standing there, right? It's like just there, her presence.
Randy got verklempt there.
You got verklempt there.
You got a little verklempt when you said.
I'm just saying,
looks.
like,
no, I get it. I understand.
He's not even trying, and they play off each other. Where those scenes, you'll see he's just, you know, looking at her, and just they're holding each other's like gaze as they're walking through in that performance.
And the one thing she said was that she couldn't believe how amazing the chemistry was on the first day of set, on the first scene. She was blown out of the water on how the chemistry. And I've seen some interviews with both of them, and they're so funny with each other, and they talk so much trash on each other. It's great.
Right. It was like that. It was like they were just doing their thing. It was good. Every interaction's pretty solid. And not only that, she has as Catwoman, we get a little bit more of her, you know, her backstory or her background a little bit, you know, like that part of town that she's from, you know, and like, you get a little glimpse into that whole thing too. So,
so Randy, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that they do a cool thing that they haven't done with Catwoman, to where they have them working together and not really knowing what's going on for such a long time, that you kind of see them both try it their way and realize that there's this point. It's never spoken, but they realize there's this point where they just can't, their ideologies are different enough they can't be righteous about either one of their ideologies being around each other.
Got it.
It's a hard thing to describe, but they do it subtly enough, and it's awesome because it is very much the nature of those two characters.
Oh, that's very cool.
Go ahead.
It's
the I know you do what you do, and I know, or what? How do you say it? It's I know you know
that I know that how you do you do.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like,
gotcha.
They're just like, but we can tolerate each other for 5 to 10 minutes, or to save each other's asses, and that's just throughout the history of Batman and Catwoman. You know.
Yeah, they definitely, their relationship is a big part of the movie, but in a very good way.
Right, and that's what they're pushing on us constantly on these TV spots and these trailers, which is fine with me. The question I have is, so you were talking about backstory, Randy. Do we get a lot of backstory with not just Catwoman, but do we see like a history of some of the characters, or they just throw us right in it?
No, we're pretty much in the middle. At this point, I think they're going the route that they assume, you know, like the standard like mythologies of all these characters.
Sure.
I think the one exception they'll make is like Falcone, just because not a lot of people know Falcone, so they'll do a little bit of backstory of how he relates to all the people in play.
And who plays Falcone, by the way?
John Turturro.
John Turturro. Yep.
Fantastic performance by the
way. Have we seen him in any of the trailers?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We have.
He's maybe. I know we've seen more of Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Yeah, we saw Colin, and there's some other guy that looks like a chubby version of Russell Crowe, and I don't know who that is.
If Riddler wasn't the main villain, John Turturro's Falcone would be.
Right.
Okay.
And actually, if you look at where it is in most Batman lore mythology, there's a period where he's just taking on the mob, those other things spring from that. So this is kind of like that, where that's why you're getting that detective, you're getting that noirish kind of feel, that pulp kind of feel, that pulp noir feel. Because he's taking on the mob, and that's just a part of it. There's all these different parts of all. Those are probably the only two different villains he has to handle. And at this point, you know, Gordon is establishing himself, because he's not Commissioner Gordon yet. He's like
Lieutenant.
He's Lieutenant.
He's Lieutenant Gordon, and their relationship is coming together. And that's why I said at the beginning of this breakdown that, you know, everybody's like, yay, Batman, you know, like, yay, but it's also like,
and you get that, you do go, going back to that trailer again, you do get that feeling in the opening scene when he's walking in to see the victim, that Riddler. It seems like it's the parting of the Red Sea, because they don't really know him,
and
they don't know what he's about.
That's the beauty of that thing, because when he's walking in, you're right, there is the parting of the Red Sea, but it's like a concession. It's an assertion of dominance. It's an assertion of him. He should be gaining. He's starting to gain confidence. Is like, I belong here. They need me here.
Okay.
They want me here. And you start to feel that as the movie goes on. It's more like, okay. At first it's like, back up. We don't know what's going on, but he's asserting as they're conceding. And
I like that he does that a lot in the movie. Like you're not used to like Batman just walking up, like literally like strolling up on enemies. Like when he goes
just like, what's up?
People, you just hear his footsteps for like a good like 30 seconds.
Yeah, just thuds on the floor, cool. And you're just like,
yeah. Usually he's lurking in the dark.
Yeah, like popping out of the shadows. No, he's coming.
Yeah, that's why I said there's almost no need for this. This Batman is in a different place.
Yeah,
the Batman we see in other versions, they've gone through certain dark periods, or that year one, or their Batman Begins. They automatically jump to a point where they have all the tech and the gadgets and the prep time and all that stuff. Right. This one is just, I'm coming to kick your ass, and he just walks right up, and he's just going to handle it. As simple as that.
Well, before I get into your actual takes on the film, the non-spoiler version, like your reviews of what you thought and how, if you were impressed, if you're not impressed, and out of your rating out of 9 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 stars, whatever we're going to do. The most important question is, how badass was this thing? Like this, this thing looks so badass. I want to get you guys' take on that thing. The Batmobile has become such an iconic piece of the lore and the mythology of Batman. How it looks so raw and so old school.
If I had the money to buy one, man, if I had the money and I was going to build or commission a Batmobile, that's the one right there.
That would be it.
That one right there. That just takes a childhood favorite design of all of ours, I'm sure, and just sticks just power, just puts more power into that thing, man. It's
like, I can't remember. It's been so long since we've seen this movie, but I just remember that scene being such a big highlight of the movie that you only get that Batmobile. Honestly, I think that one big scene, but it's a lengthy, chunky scene.
Okay.
And even then, it was edited really fucking well. It's a fucking awesome scene.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
Really.
Cool.
Especially because like so much of that whole time in the movie is all practical. So I think a majority of it was there. It just, oh God, it's such a good scene. I forgot how good that scene is.
It looks awesome. It absolutely looks awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's break it down here. What's your take on this thing? Non-spoiler version. What's your take? Will people enjoy it? 4 out of 5 Batwings, 5 out of 5 Batwings. You tell me, what is your review?
Well, my review is this. This is definitely a very, very different Batman. Everyone talks about dark and gritty and all that stuff, but this one really does take it there. It takes you down a different path. It takes you down a nightmare scenario as far as whatever Batman is facing and what is presented for him to face. Catwoman fits perfectly in as an ally / op. It's just a different feel, but it's great with her there. And everyone else plays their parts perfectly. There is an element that may be a little too on the nose for some people as far as like what our social climate is right now, but it does work out. It works out, in my opinion. It's something that can definitely, it had to be in there, and it's good to see Batman have to take something like that on in a sense, but I'm not going to throw out, you'll see it all happen.
Right. Don't you dare.
I'll give it 4 out of 5 Batwings.
Okay, 4 out of 5 Batwings. All right. It's pretty good. Randy?
I'd say the most awesome thing about this movie, and I did like the movie, is that it's very much the closest thing to like an art house film doing Batman. Like there's such a clear and concise vision to what the director wants, and it shows in this movie, like the way they use lighting, the tone. Right. It's a gritty film, but like it's still like it's a single vision in a way that probably we haven't seen any other Tim Burton's Batman is a single vision. It's just kind of a shitty vision. But there's cool things to it. But this one, it just definitely is just, it's so reserved, but makes the right decisions when it needs to. It's really, it's a badass movie. And I'm curious to see how the final edit goes, because the last third of the movie didn't work for me very well.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't take away from how good the movie was as a whole. And Yeah, I'm curious to see it again, but I really did enjoy it. I would go with less on this. I'd give it like 4 out of 5 batarangs.
Oh, there it is. Batarangs. There you go. Well, I mean, you guys really pumped me up for this. Like, I didn't need to be any more pumped up. I've been talking about this since they even announced it. It was coming out, and then the leaked photo of him on a motorcycle or something. I'm very, very excited about this. Here's another question, the last question this is a really important one for people who haven't seen it yet. Do we wait till the end of the credits? Is there something at the end of the credits? Well, you guys got a raw cut of it, but is there something that we need to wait for? There is. Oh, okay. You guys got something.
They did a thing. I think at the time they weren't at a point where they were clipping everything into like end credits. So just smushed everything together, and the end credits just played at the end of before the credits.
Oh,
so there is. Yeah, there's something. I think they know that this is a franchise.
Okay. Wow, that gets me even more excited.
Yeah, well, don't get too excited.
Don't get too excited. Okay. Mr. Freeze is coming out. No. I'm sorry, Les. I know you're a big Mr. Freeze fan. I don't.
Not really a big Mr. Freeze fan, but sometimes you just want to see certain Bat rogues done right. It would be a really cool Batman movie to have Firefly and Mr. Freeze, and have Batman have to handle that.
Well, does this film remind you of any of the graphic novels or comics or anything? Is there one particular that you're like, this actually reminded me of this version of Batman?
It's definitely there's a lot of Long Halloween.
Okay.
There's a little bit of ego, and I think it kind of leaves us at a point that kind of reminds me of the games.
Okay. All right. So like a little mixture of almost all the great ones. Okay. Oh my
gosh. I'm excited to see once everyone's seen the movie and we can actually talk about it freely. Where does the series go from there? Because I think that is honestly one of the more interesting things, aside from it being an amazing movie, where it goes next, because I think there's a lot of potential to handle it realistically.
Great. Well, the critics, I've read a bunch of reviews. The critics are in love with it. It's getting some great scores, some great reviews. Cannot wait for the people to see it. I cannot wait to see it in 2 days, going on opening night. So can't wait to talk to you guys about it finally. And for everybody else, thank you so much for hanging out with us for this review and little reaction from Randy and Les. We're going to be talking about it again in our podcast this week, and then we're going to follow up and spoil the hell out of it the following week. On our podcast, The Sith List, where you can find it anywhere like Spotify, anywhere podcasts are enjoyed. Please subscribe. Like I said before, we'd love to have you. And we'll be doing this stuff more often. For Randy and Les down there, let me see if I can get him. I'm Mirage, and we will catch you next time right here on The Sith List.